Boom, boom, motherfuckers. Boom, boom.
Backed by popular demand.
Boom, boom.
Someone's excited.
Well, I will be honest, out of everybody we've talked about the podcast that we do, and they know what our history is before we moved to here and everything like that. Are you okay? Why are you like double fisting that?
Ready to just throttle the shit out of this.
He's so ready.
I am so ready.
The one thing people have asked us the most about is when are we bringing back the car segments? And I'm not actually lying about this. You can ask Chris or Aaron. Sorry, you can ask him. One of our friends at work has said it. My dad has said it. I know a couple other people who have said it. Number one studio audience has said it. Who have literally asked, when are you going to bring back the car segment? So, back by popular demand.
Two guys talk about cars.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard
Yep.
Hammond and James May made a long career about it, and we love them.
All of those guys, yep.
You don't know who they are.
No
You've
clue.
never watched Top Gear.
I played Gran Turismo 3.
That's a start.
Yeah.
That's a start.
I'm there.
Hey, if you've watched Phineas and Ferb, you've probably seen him.
I've seen like the first 3 Fast and the Furious, and then it got confusing.
Well, I'll give you that one.
Because it was like as soon as the light turned green, they got out of the car and started fighting. Like
What
what do the
fuck?
cars even have to do with it anymore?
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
car thing no more.
It's more of a heist thing now.
Yeah, it's not as good as it used to be. I'd rather see them engine swap
Definitely not as
stuff.
interesting
now.
as-
Oh,
electric
engine swaps. I'm going to miss those.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's more like put a new chip in your car.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about in this one. I mean, we could have covered some other stuff like Chevy finally getting rid of the Camaro again because it's not selling. How we're going to have 8 years of the ugly ass mid-engine Corvette.
I don't think it's that ugly.
It's that fucking ugly. It is the ugliest thing that's ever been created. And fuck you, Chevy, for getting rid of what made Corvette fucking unique.
The bad news is that they've spent so much money on the design. And
I know.
They're going to have to keep it around for at least 10
8,
years.
10 years
Yeah.
to fucking make up for it.
Mhm.
But come on, that's what made Corvette famous at the Nürburgring, was have a front engine car that actually kept up with times of Ferrari.
Right, but it still keeps the heritage of being a cheaper version to a Ferrari to be able to keep
but
up
I
with
look
those
like a
cars.
Ferrari now.
But now,
But for 60 grand.
I don't give a fuck.
They really get rid of the Camaro?
They are. They're getting rid of the Camaro.
how much is the new Corvette? What's it
60
around?
grand,
About
base
60
model.
grand
That's the base model?
base model. But it looks like a Ferrari
Mid-engine car.
mid-engine. They went all mid-engine because they wanted to keep up with Ferrari and what they're doing at the Nürburgring.
To be honest, Chevy has finally reached the pinnacle of what they can do with a front-engine sports car. They needed to do something to change the handling,
Blah,
to change the suspension.
Blah, blah.
They needed to
America.
do something to keep up with Ford
America.
cars.
America.
So are they trying to build
get
more
that.
of a supercar?
Who are they
than a
trying to
muscle
keep
car?
up with?
Ferrari,
Ferrari,
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini, Aston, all the people that make
Okay.
the big sports cars.
I don't know a lot about cars, but I do know that you've got big sports cars, and you've
European.
got Corvettes.
Yes. The funny thing is, most people can build a Corvette to be just as fast as those. And that's the idea, having a cheaper sports car that can keep up with them. That's Chevy's claim to fame with the Corvette.
So Corvette's like that. Okay, so the Mustang is like the poor man sports car, right?
Yes,
and then
that's
Mustang is like that I'm getting by sports car. Or the Corvette. So they're wanting to make Corvette like I could have bought a Ferrari, but I bought a Corvette.
Yes, and see, okay, so let me give you the whole backstory what did into this. When the Z06 came out, it was actually able to keep up at the Nürburgring with, I think it wasn't a 458, but it was a 436 Ferrari, and actually made great fucking lap times, like up there. And then they came out with the ZR01, the Camaro, and it did fucking fantastic. So here's an American-based company at the Nürburgring, which is a big track in Germany. I am right? It's
Yes,
Germany.
Nürburgring.
Yeah,
is
I thought
Germany.
so. Big place in Germany that's known for testing out these really great cars.
The
and,
best of the best cars.
Yeah, the
go on
best of
this
the
track.
best. And here comes these hillbilly rednecks from Detroit. We just made great lap times. Like, we're ranked number 3 with our front engine car, rear-wheel drive.
For almost half the price of some of the cars that it was beating.
That were there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, of course, these people who want these cars, They can't get them. You can only get them in the States.
So we literally walked
they
into
just
Europe,
broaden
put our
their-
penis on the table.
Yep, we
said,
just
"Look
went
at this," and now you can't have it and walk away
Why?
because we can.
because
We're
we
America.
can. We're America.
Granted, we've done it a couple other times with
Yep, Mopa.
the Viper doing the same thing at the Nürburgring,
Yes.
holding the record
Vipers are dope.
twice.
Hence why I mean
If I could
him.
afford a Viper, I'd have one.
A Viper is one of those cars where, yeah, you are paying the premium tax for owning a Viper, especially now that they're not being made anymore, which
They might be coming back.
might be. It's
Well-
always a rumor for a Viper coming back.
So, but now, what has happened with with Chevy, basically, or GM? Let's just go ahead and call it. It is the brand GM. They said, well, to be honest, where they're actually killing us in lap time and where Ferrari, Lamborghini, and all these people are actually making better headway is being able to corner at higher speeds than what we can with a rear-wheel drive car.
And they've compensated that for years with either a fiberglass body or a carbon fiber body. Instead of going metal, they'll go lighter. They'll have better suspension components, carbon ceramic brakes, just high quality parts.
Something.
And then cheapening out on interior and stuff that people don't care about for a sports car.
'Cause-
And they were doing really well. They were keeping up. But it was getting to the point where we've used so many quality products and they can't keep the price low enough for people to want to buy it. Eventually, they were going to get to the point where they were having really high quality parts costing the customer a lot of money just to compete with a vehicle that's $200,000. So what do? They decide that they need to change the format and make the engine a mid-engine so that it'll have better handling right off the bat, still use the same cheap components that they've been using for years, but still keep the low costs so that people would want to buy it over this $200,000 or $300,000 Lamborghini.
So that's the reason why a lot of people who know the Corvette history are kind of really upset at Corvette right now. They feel like they've literally just threw up their hands and said, instead of actually trying to make it to where we don't give up the Corvette design, we just gave up and said, no, we're going to make it look like Ferrari. And it does look like a Ferrari.
And I can understand their point to an extent. Ever since the C2, the Corvette has been known as a cheap man's sports car that's been able to get results.
That's the Mustang.
No, that's a poor man's muscle car. There's a difference. The muscle car and a
Technically
sports
a pony
car.
car, which is a subset of muscle car, but we won't get into
Yeah,
that.
we won't get into it. We're getting into
It's
a lot
too
there.
deep.
But they've always made small changes. It's never been anything crazy dramatic. But now this is a whole different platform. It's not a V8. It's not a front engine car.
It's like they're remastering the car from the ground up.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Just to
basically.
keep the legacy alive of what the Corvette means to GM.
Disney and EA are nowhere near this, right?
No,
No.
we hope.
Maybe there's hope for it.
That's why I love cars so much. They at least try.
So why even call it a Corvette anymore?
Because Corvette has always been the name for their sports car. They could have called it something else. They could have changed it, but they wanted to keep that legacy alive. They wanted to let people know, hey, there is still a cheap sports car you can buy from GM that's going to get you results.
Miss the Chevelle.
Oh, yeah, the Chevelle was nice.
I'm glad
Bring
it's
the
dead.
Chevelle back.
No, I'm glad it's dead.
He's seen too many of them.
He's anti-Chevelle.
I'm very anti-Chevelle.
You just don't like the band, do you?
No, I like the band. I love the band. I love Chevelle. Actually, the band.
Would you like them better if they were named Corvette?
No, I would hate them. I'd hate them. Because you can ask him if it's pre C4, I love it. But if it's after C4, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I hate his C4.
I love my C4.
I hate it.
It's beautiful.
So, but that's not actually. I just wanted to get that off my chest because there has been a lot of news in actual cars, and we're actually kind of catching up a little bit with trying to keep this on a shorter time schedule.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot. We could have done a lot.
Oh, we could have done hours of this.
Yes,
Yeah.
we really could have. But we're actually going with because there's been a lot going on, especially with some of the new politics stuff going on about how
yes.
you're going to have to be charged going to work per mile, 8 cents.
So I'll phrase this the nicest way I can possibly.
Fuck.
Former Vice President Joe Biden has now declared that most car manufacturers are going to be
Allegedly, it hasn't been passed yet. Allegedly, let me throw that out there.
allegedly.
Let me throw that out there because it has not been passed. Don't hurt us, YouTube. We're not getting paid. We're not on your radar, so don't do this.
But even
This
though
has
it's,
come around.
even though it's just a rumor that it could happen, there's also a bunch of taxes for any kind of vehicle that produces a V8, any kind of vehicle that has a gas guzzler tax. There's always an incentive to go smaller or switch
green.
to EV. And it's getting to the point where even our best automotive companies, Mopar, has decided that there's almost no way to keep making V8s because they're getting taxed all to hell, and it's getting to the point now where it was advantageous in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, but now they've got so many taxes that a car that may have cost them $40,000 to build, they're going to have to charge you $80,000 to buy it because there's a bunch of taxes and red tape that they have to go through. And now nobody wants to buy an $80,000 Challenger that's brand new because
Taxes.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot more taxes added onto it. Not only do we have a luxury tax. Do y'all know what the luxury tax? I know you do it. Do you know what the luxury tax is?
Nope.
Any car that actually has a price tag over $60,000, you have to pay an additional tax for that car.
So if it costs you more, it's going to cost you more.
Yeah, it's called the luxury
I love
tax.
that logic.
If your car eats too much gas by certain standards, then yeah, that's going to cost you more. And there's just tons of things that just tack onto that. And they give you discounts on if your car can do a certain thing, like a certain mileage, or if your car is more economic and uses so many different kinds of materials, they'll give you a tax credit on it. It's just the cars that people want to buy is not what the government's giving credits towards. So those vehicles become expensive.
Well, what about the whole electric scene? Is that cheaper?
The electric scene is very big right now.
But it's not cheaper. So here's where this is a lie. And I don't care what people say, this is a lie. You know what is the most dangerous thing mined out in a world right now?
Tesla.
No, the nickel for these fucking batteries that go into these. It's the
That was my
dangerous
second guess.
mining thing done.
It's very hard on the workers. It's very hard on the companies. It's very hard
On transporting it?
transportation. It's hard on the EPA. It's hard on everybody except maybe the government.
But,
Nickel?
yeah.
The nickel
Wow.
for the batteries in the cars.
Wow.
So, but no, they want us all to switch. And when we mean all, we're not talking about Toyota with their Prius. Sorry. We're not I don't like the Prius. You can look at me all you want to. I didn't talk bad about Toyota. I talked bad about Prius. You can talk, the Chevy Volt. I hate the Prius. I'd blow them up with fucking
Hey, I don't like
bazookas.
Priuses either, man. They
But-
have soup kitchens in those.
What I'm actually talking about is people like Rolls-Royce who are trying by the end of 2023 to have nothing but electric cars come out. People like Mopar, which hurts me to the soul to hear that they want to move everything by 2024. And
Not everything. Granted, they are going to still have a few models that will have a gasoline engine.
but nothing V8, am I right?
They are moving away from the V8, yes.
The one thing that Mopar has strived for the last 10 fucking years with the Demon, the SRT8.
Granted, that's what they've been known for. That engine alone has more than enough made up the money they've had researched into it. They've used it in the Challenger, the Charger,
the Chrysler,
the Trailcat, the T-Rex. They were looking at putting it in a minivan.
the Elephant that they made for a crate engine that you
Oh
could
my
put
gosh.
into anything.
The Elephant was beautiful, and it sold out in 3 days.
I know. We covered it
Oh
in
my
our
gosh.
original hour-long episodes back in the day.
Big engines.
Yeah, we like big
I
engines.
like
that-
Elephant almost as much as I like the sound of electric Hummer.
And that's the other one. Hummer. Fucking Hummer.
So now that Tesla's not only prevalent, but it's very common and it's the new hip thing to do, especially with younger audiences, automotive companies have been tasked with looking at the future. One, you're being disincentivized into not making big engines. Two, people are giving credits and getting credits for buying EV cars, making
Yep.
EV cars. And three, it's the new hip thing, especially in the younger scene, to have an electronic car.
Now, here's the problem with all this. I don't know if people have actually looked into this. Do y'all not understand how unreliable it is to actually have an electric car? One, not everywhere around here can charge your car.
Yes, and that's another reason. The big trend is have an EV car because, you save on gas. But at the same time, that comes at a different cost. You're now putting a bigger strain on the electric grid for your area. If you live in a low electric grid area, say out in the country or something, you have to pay for all that yourself. Or they're hoping that you'll go to the city just to charge your car,
Now,
which they make even more money on in
How-
the local electric grid.
how far? Now, you don't own a Tesla.
Nope.
Now, the only place I know right now to own a Tesla or to charge a Tesla is the Sheets in Hickory near where we work.
There's a lot of Sheets that do have contracts for charging stations with Tesla.
But
Does
Tesla,
it have to be a specific charging port?
Mm.
there's the thing.
Or is it universal?
No,
No.
it's not universal.
Oh, wow.
So there's the market right there. If Tesla has Sheets, who has other things? Does Volt have 70, or does Chevy have 76? If that's the case, are they going to have adapters to fit Hummer? Because technically GM has diversed. So you got Chevy, you've got Hummer, which is their own thing. You've got, who is it?
BMW.
Well, no, yeah, BMW, but GM is more than just Chevy.
Yeah.
It's
GMC.
Cadillac, it's GMC, it's a couple of other ones, just like Ford is Ford,
The
Lincoln, Mercury.
subsidiaries.
Yeah, it's subsidiaries. So therein lies another problem. Who is going to get what? And like you said there too, as a normal household person who comes home and charges up their car, you come home, you charge up your car. How much in more money in electric bills are you going to have to pay? Not only that, do you know how long it takes to charge an electric car?
No.
Hours.
To fully charge your car, hours. If you go over your range, you're going to have to go home and park your car for a certain number of hours just to get that 30 miles back.
Now, hold on. Now, don't most electric vehicles have a small gas tank for, like...
Those are hybrids. Not all electric
Ah.
vehicles have those. But granted, yes, some hybrids do have the ability to use a small electric engine to keep it going.
But here's
But
the big question.
That's using gas.
Exactly.
Would an electric Viper be cheaper than a real Viper?
No.
No.
It would be
it's-
more expensive?
Yes.
But would it still try to kill you if you drive it?
Everything's
I
going
hope
to
so.
I mean, as Jeremy Clarkson once said, the speed does not kill you. It
It's
is the sudden
stop.
stop.
There.
But no, and here's the thing. With all of this being incentivized and companies having no choice but to seriously consider electric vehicles, there's become a race for who can make it more hip to be the new electric company. So Rolls-Royce has heard that Dodge is rehauling everything with their new owner, Stellantis, owning the Fiat Chrysler Association.
Yep.
And GM making the big leaps. They already had the Volt, Chevy Volt,
Yep.
and the something else.
I thought it was just the Volt.
No, they have one other one. Something else ugly. I don't know.
They're all ugly.
Everybody's either got a slight advantage on Rolls-Royce because
Rolls-Royce has never had an electric car ever, unless you go back to the 30s when everything was kind of experimental back then.
Right.
We had an actual hydroelectric car.
Concept.
Yeah, it was concept. Everything back then was was just throw science fiction in the whole thing, and it worked.
So with everybody saying
That's
they're
how
going to
Star
meet,
Wars was born.
Yeah, in the 30s.
so with everybody getting together and saying, "Oh, well, we've got to meet this deadline of 2024," Rolls-Royce, with their infinite amounts of money because they are a big brand, they say, "Oh, well, we're going to do it by 2023," and you can already see the media warfare that's going on between these car companies trying to compete with each other for future customers in the market.
Yeah, but a Rolls Royce isn't necessarily a cheap vehicle.
No, and see,
and
that's
if the
another
electric
thing.
version is going to be more like.
Yes, that's another thing people don't understand. There are reasons why you don't see a lot of. You see more Teslas now than you did. I will admit that. But Teslas are not cheap. They were not cheap cars to begin with.
Not only that, there's a lot of financial institutions that will give you a loan to get a Tesla. They may not give you a $100,000 loan to buy a house, but they'll give you a $100,000 loan to buy a Tesla because they know everybody's going to want a Tesla. The customer thinks of it as, I'm buying this one car for the rest of my life. I'll never have to buy anything else again because no
Bullshit.
gas, no maintenance.
Bullshit.
But people don't think about it. They see young people see a car and like, that's the only car I'll ever need.
Bullshit.
And cars are not infinite. They will die.
Yeah.
They will have problems.
And I will say this. Guess I can look it up, or one of us can look it up. I want somebody to see how much it actually takes to replace one of those lithium batteries because it's not cheap.
Oh, Chris Fix replaced a lithium battery in a Prius, and that was really hard. A Prius.
Not only was it hard, how much was it to actually get the lithium battery?
Oh my gosh, he had to source it from a used one.
That's a used one. A brand new one is super expensive.
It was like thousands of dollars just for the battery.
Well, we're also talking about the difference between mechanical replacements versus electrical replacements.
Yeah, and it's not as easy for the average person to work on their cars anymore. Me and I think it was Jamie were talking about
Well,
it
that's
at work.
by design.
Yeah, that's by design. They don't want people messing with cars anymore. In the olden days, Jamie said that his manual, you could open it and it would tell you how to adjust the float on your valve springs. It's a very important, intricate piece to your engine.
Yeah.
Most people just don't know how it works. But nowadays, they'll tell you, do not drink the blue fluid underneath the engine bay. Like, it is just dumb. It's some of the things people will do nowadays.
$1,000 for a lithium. Is that used or brand new?
It says brand new.
Is that for what car?
It doesn't say.
Okay, so that's still $1,000. So you know what on a regular car, what you can do with $1,000 to replace?
Oh,
That's
it costs $5,000 to replace it.
oh, that's $5,000.
$1,000 for the battery, $5,000 to replace it.
So you're looking at $6,000 for a full.
Wait, you said it's $1,000 to buy it and $5,000 to replace it?
Labor.
You have to have a skilled technician to replace the battery.
So for $5,000, I could basically redo the whole Chrysler out there. That is, put new headers, new transmission, repair my transmission for that. Yeah, not brand new. 'Cause
And
I'd
I
have
don't
to
think
put-
your average, repair shop is going to be able to do this without hiring a technician to help them do it.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to take it to the dealership and pay a shit ton of money.
By design.
by
So here's the
design.
thing. Now, this is kind of off topic, but my dad, who drives a Sprinter van in Charlotte, it's a Mercedes one, right? So Mercedes had the partnership because the Sprinter brands were owned by Mopar. So the guy comes out there in his Dodge hat, Mopar hat. He sees that it's a Mercedes one. He reached down below his desk, puts on his Mercedes one. And the guy said, my dad said, what's the difference? He says, 45 an hour, 120 an hour.
Oh.
And granted, you can be certified in multiple different fields of automotive. So if you can get certified in a higher end brand, let's say you work for Rolls-Royce, then you get paid more than a technician that works for Dodge. It's one of those things where if you can do it all, you can get paid it all.
I like that.
But
Yep.
so one of the things I wanted to talk about was Dodge's very extensive ability to just transform their entire company to go towards this EV new initiative. And I don't know if they can actually do it, but this is what they said.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't, but at the same time, they said that it's more beneficial for their company. So they have stated that they're going to have an electronic van, SUV, and it will be offered in multiple variants of an EV and then a base model that is also gasoline. So there will be a small displacement gasoline engine. I'm assuming that they would go into that inline six that they had been researching into. I don't know if they officially did any research on it, but there was rumors talking about they were looking into a 3.2, 3.3 liter inline six. That way that China can also buy it because they
Like the inline six because the inline six gives you a lot of torque and it's good on gas.
well, they also have heavy emissions on displacement.
Yep.
So that would give them a very torquey gasoline engine for anybody that wanted to save a little bit of money in case you didn't want to buy an electric van. They would do the same thing with the truck. They would have a really cool looking truck, by the way. Multiple EVs on it, just like the Cybertruck. In a way,
Yeah.
It would be like a one motor in the rear or two motors or one at each wheel, and then there would be a cheap gasoline version. They said they are also doing a sedan and a new all-electric muscle car. They
And
said
that's
it
going to be fucking expensive.
They said muscle, not
They said
sport?
this will be the first electric muscle car.
So no electric Viper.
No. Now, granted, some of the specs that they didn't say, but they said they are unveiling a new vehicle, something brand new. And I think to kick off this whole electric change and initiative in the company, Dodge has been
They
known-
better not do the CUDA. I swear to God, if they do the CUDA, I'm going to be pissed.
That's what I was told, that they may be doing the CUDA. Because if you look at the video, the grills look really similar, and they are going back to their old 60s emblem.
So we could get an electric Dodge Dart.
We could.
I'll take the Dart
Yeah.
because the Dart's been out for a while.
I
It makes sense.
The darts look nice. But with Dodge making a big shift, they're really wanting to get people on board. And even though older people aren't the initiative, they still want them to come in. So there is rumor of Stellantis using a carbon fiber body frame from another one of their companies. I think it may be maybe Fiat, and turning that into an all-electric Dodge Viper for a 1 or 2 year only kind of deal.
I swear to God, if they make that work, here's the problem with that: the price tag.
Oh, it'll be crazy expensive.
They're gonna have to find people to buy. 2, could you imagine the track records if it works?
It would be insane if they put.
That car's going to be super light, and with that is the one advantage of electric car is torque.
Mm-hmm.
It gets on the power like nothing.
And I don't know what it was
There's
from.
no delay.
But somebody showed me a picture of the carbon fiber inlay that they looked at using, and if they do a mid-mounted battery placement with motors at each wheel, they said they were projected to make 2,200.
That's fucking ridiculous.
That's insane. I think it was like 600 or something at each wheel. It's
That's gonna. They better have some fucking way to put downforce on every part of that, because if not, that motherfucker's gonna fly.
AKA the death of Hammond.
Maybe. Someone's seriously looking out for that guy.
It was an electric car that almost did him in.
Yeah.
No. The first one was a jet-powered car that got airborne and flipped. I mean, that was the first time when he had to basically learn how to redo everything.
No, but the second one.
Second one was an electric car.
He drove the electric one off a hill.
Yeah.
Didn't he have to relearn how to walk after that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was on that one. The first one he had in the accident, and he basically had to reteach himself how to do everything.
Like speak.
Yeah.
But what I'm wondering, something that fast, would that even be road legal? Street legal?
Yes, you
If
can
they-
make it street legal.
If they wanted it to, which it would be very important to do so, yes, they could do it. Because as we've learned from the Lamborghini Veneno, that people don't want to buy a car that's $200,000 and you can only take to the track.
That is true to a certain extent. There's billionaires who will buy a car
Don't
just
get me
to
wrong,
take
but
to
if
it.
Talking about the Elemento?
No, I was talking about the Veneno. No way, you're right. It is the Elemento. Yeah, because the
Didn't
Elemento was very legal.
McLaren also have a carbon fiber glass looking side door that also wasn't street legal?
Yeah, everybody's had one.
Yeah.
Arrows had one. Lambo, Porsche, the GT-R2.
They made a version of the Celine that wasn't road legal. It was
Yeah,
super fast.
everybody has made a track day car because that's big in Europe. So
yeah, I'm very hopeful that they can pull it off, but at the same time, don't know if they can do it. I really hope this all gets turned around and it's not that
Let's
big
hope
of a
not
deal.
for Hammond's sake.
you don't even know who the hamster is.
Nope.
Nope.
I just don't want him to die. You guys seem to like
too
it.
large of an undertaking to become practical.
It really is, especially with all the new components, because with new industry mandates comes new industry research, which leads to items becoming more expensive just for the common person.
I mean, we're already having trouble with shortages and, electronic components for computers and gaming systems.
Yeah, imagine how that's going to be for that.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's another thing that's going to... The common man's not going to be able to pay for this type of thing right off the bat. The Prius alone, off the shop floor, is still worth $40,000.
I don't see a single EV car coming out in the next 3 years that'll be less than $80,000.
So where are people, middle class and lower class, supposed to buy these?
Public transportation. They want you to rely
do-
on public transportation.
But if you live out in the fucking country, I cannot wait for iCats to come out here and take me to work on fucking time. I'm sorry. It's unreliable.
It won't work.
It won't. There's no
won't work.
way.
Nope. But that's just a theory.
A car theory.
Thanks for watching.
Don't sue us.
No, please, God, no, Matt, we love you.
Now, if you want to bring us on for a vehicle or car theory, we got your back.
We'll do
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Expand the franchise.
And we'll talk FNAF all day. I know I will.
Yeah, that can be your fourth little doodad. What color will we be? He's got red, yellow, green,
Black.
blue.
Blue.
Blue is his other one. What's that one?
I don't fucking know.
Purple. We can be purple. I like purple.
Okay,
He
purple.
likes purple.
Yeah.
Purple.
I want purple.
Purple.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time when we talk about more things with wheels and go fast.
Yeah. Boom, boom, motherfucker.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Peace out.
Candy.